We're going to bring forward our first couple. I am so excited. They are our first couple. And they mean a lot to us. They are a part of our Blamily, a part of our Blamcore community. They are also relationship coaches who are holding their own, doing their own thing. They're in our mentorship. And they have been just amazing in terms of the way that they have shown up in the community, and the way that they have shown up in so many ways for each other. So we're going to listen to them. We're going to talk to them tonight. And y'all going to give them some good energy when they come forward. They are a dynamic couple. And look, this is one of their reels. There they go, y'all. Give it up for them. We just want you to see them, follow them at Committed to Us. But here's a little bit from them. I like to see their reels on Instagram, y'all. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. Yes, new experiences.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. All right, y'all, give it up for Sunny and Lisa. But you gotta take us off to put us on the screen as we bring them forward. What's up, fam? Sunny and Lisa, y'all, they are a dynamic couple. They've shared a life journey filled with love and all kind of things, commitment, deep passion, and they focus on helping couples to really build strong and enduring relationships. Somebody type enduring in the chat. It could be passion and all that, but if it don't last, I don't really know what the point is. They're a blended family, y'all. They got 2 decades of marriage under their belt. They understand the power of communication and the importance it carries in marriage. Not only communication, but connection. Apart from their professions, they work respectively as a tax specialist. That is what Lisa does with the state of Ohio. And Sunny is a crime scene detective with the city of Columbus. They're also actively involved as leaders in their marriage ministry at Faith Ministries Church in Ohio. And let me tell you something, they are taking the world by storm, right? They are taking their passion for healthy marriages beyond their church community. They now have a coaching business. Y'all can book them, or y'all can get with them, get on their schedule. And their coaching approach, informed by their own experiences and all of the training that they have received, emphasizes the significance of addressing challenges with sensitivity, and nurturing the initial spark that unites you. So, y'all, I want y'all to give it up for the Williams. They are steadfast, y'all, in focusing on folks. Their narrative serves as a poignant reminder that even in the face of life's difficulties, a partnership founded on understanding, empathy, and intention can withstand the test of time. As mentors, coaches, and champions of healthy marriages, they extend an invitation to others, encouraging them to communicate with care and connect with intention. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
How y'all feeling?
Doing good. I'm digging the mics.
Yes.
Yes.
We are so happy to have you guys on. If you don't know, again, everybody, Sunny and Lisa are really amazing. They are amazing at how they share their story. For those who follow us, we love to do reels. They love to do reels. So again, follow them at Committed2Us on Instagram. And I just want y'all to know that I'm really happy that y'all said yes. And that y'all didn't say like, maybe next time. Y'all said okay. So we introduced you, but if you all can just share a little bit about yourselves, about your family, how you came together, and how did you come to doing this work in terms of working with couples?
Yeah, now that I got about a half a toe left after,
You said
major,
all of
yeah,
it.
I was like, yeah, a lot of that breakdown was me in those situations, and what she had to put up with my stuff. So, yeah, we kind of sit in a pocket of, I guess if you will, mental health through first responders and just like the mental and medical and maybe police and fire. We that's kind of the pocket we usually sit in. Obviously we talk to other people as well, but you want to start out with how you kind of got into that with your parents, because both her parents are military, right? So if you want to start with that.
So our foundations are totally different. So when we met, we were in love and everything, but we didn't do the work to figure out what the background was, of growing up. And when we got married, it came out. And what I found is that, my relationship was totally different than his upbringing. My parents are still together. They're very military. My father was in Vietnam, my mother was in the army, and that's how they raised my sisters and I. Was three girls. We didn't have any brothers, so anything that a boy could do, my dad taught us. So, the one thing that I will say, growing up in that type of home environment, I really never saw them argue, and I never saw them recover. So when Sonny and I got married and the conflict would come, I didn't know what to do. I would, just kind of lose it. Growing up, like I said, in a structured home, I kind of felt I didn't have a voice. So when I was grown, I'm like, I should be able to say what I want to say, and you should be okay with it. And so anytime that he said anything to me, and he's an alpha male, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. He's an alpha male, he's a police officer. So that whole energy coming to me, I would just show up defensive. I would be really passive aggressive, and I would sprinkle a little bit of petty on it. And that's just, every time he would say something, I didn't see it as a team. I thought he was very critical. I was over personalizing everything. So our first few years of marriage were rough because I couldn't figure out how to get my voice and not respect it. So that was the thing. He would say something, I would buck up against him, and then he would feel not respected. And that cycle went on for a long, long time. My tone was crazy. On top of all of that, when we got married, he had been married before, so we had a daughter from that marriage, and he had a previous relationship where he had a son. So I was an instant mom. And I had no kids. And so I'm dealing with baby moms, and that was a whole story. I should write a book about it, the stuff that we went through with that. And then in-laws, and we just really had a hard time communicating. Like the connection was there, but we didn't know how to talk to each other. We just didn't. And I didn't know how to recover, and he would become silent.
Wow. So I mean, let me ask you this. So you all had this, it sounds like this ongoing disconnect where you all weren't able to resolve things, and you all were maybe both offending each other all the time and that kind of thing. What is it that you now, looking back, know about yourself that you didn't know then, that's helped you to be able to maybe do differently or to shift? Like what do you know now that you didn't know then? And this is for both of you guys.
Well, I'll go first. What I know now is that everything wasn't all about me personally. Like when he was coming to try to give me constructive criticism, it wasn't that he was knocking me down. He was trying to make me better. And I couldn't see that. I just felt like, there's anything that I do, you find fault in. And so that was the pocket that I stayed in for a long time. And so what I know now is that when he comes to me, sometimes I just got to shut my mouth and listen, which was hard for me. And, I know we just had an incident where my tire was going low, and I was spazzing out because I tend to overthink. And he just told me, I got it. And I immediately calmed. Normally, I would just spaz out. But we've gotten to the place now that I let him lead because I want him to lead, and I need to let him lead and not try to control that.
Okay, that's good. They in the chat like, yes, me too, Lisa. Me too.
Hey, do this for me. If you, I know I'm gonna say something to Sonny in a second. Yeah, I want Sonny to answer, but if you are married to an alpha male, type I'm married to one in the chat. If you are an alpha male,
put AM in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, because some of y'all might be able to resonate with this, and that might be you. And so again, you're looking at a couple that has that dynamic present in their relationship, and so
they've been able to navigate. Yeah. So Sonny, what have you learned about yourself looking back?
Oh my God. Yeah, I see Russell in there. I knew she was gonna put Russell in there. Yeah, so looking back, I was very alpha male. So you gotta think my dad growing up was had to be the male figure had to take over basically at 13. Long story on that is another story, but he had to take over. So he went through a progress so that he already had to be man of the house. So he was already in that kind of like setting that space of alpha. Then he becomes a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
So at 3, I think at 3 on up, I think he started telling me, think, don't be a follower. You're a young black male. I mean, he started drilling me from 3 all the way to 18. He would go to Japan, learn defensive tactics, come home and beat me from 3 to 18. Like,
Wow.
basically trained me. So I was basically being brought up militant before I even made it to middle school, all the way through. So fast forward, me and her, we get together and I'm treating her like that when we have issues. I'm treating her like ready break, like she's a football teammate instead of my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm treating her like I did on the football team and basketball team instead of my soft, loving wife that God gifted me with. Like
Yeah.
I'm taking those skills that I learned and I'm applying it here because that's all I learned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what your girl did here in her softness and her getting soft and working through that and all the pain and stuff I was putting her through, what she did was she kind of built a bridge for me to come over in that softness and stop being alpha all the time. I had to be a balance between her and my kids. Um, I started seeing when she would get quiet, I would walk away from an argument. And at first I'm like, yeah, I told her. And then get in the room, get in my space because I went away from her and I would go, I don't think I won that. I don't think that was that great. And that was all because she did start working on herself and started growing and started going into the second grade and the third grade and the fourth grade while I was still in the first grade. She started working on herself
Yeah.
while I was blaming her still for everything.
Wow. Oh,
That's
got
what I
me
learned. Work
goosebumps.
on yourself. Stop blaming your partner.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the biggest things.
Oh
And
my gosh.
then as we're going that because it ain't an overnight thing. As we're going through that, my daughter, my kids, I'm thinking I'm a great guy. I'm liked at work. I'm liked everywhere. I'm liked everywhere. So I got the biggest ego in the world. When I come home, my daughter barely says anything to me. They tell her the stories. I'm sitting on the couch. They're like, "Mom," I'm like, "What? I'm right here."
Mm-hmm.
That hurt. That
Yeah.
hurt me. Obviously, I ain't running over, crying to them about it, but it hurt. And I'm like, man, I don't want that. I don't want them to go, that's just dad, and have no relationship with me. Matter of fact, they called me a dictator one time when we had a family meeting, and that was
Ah.
the last straw for me. That was the last straw for me because it hurt me to my core.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Sonny, I'm gonna have you park right there for a second because I, as a father,
I know you resonate.
I do resonate with that. And one of our children told me, and it hurt me to my core because as fathers, we want what's best for our children. I don't think that there's any. I mean, I'm not gonna say any, but most fathers want what's best for their children, and so we do things not to hurt them, but to prepare, to equip, to protect them, to shield them. So one day I was having a heart to heart with our oldest, and he said to me, "Say y'all did a great job at protecting me, but I don't know whether or not y'all gave me the space and y'all prepared me properly." And
Mm-hmm.
so I was building a fence around him, trying to protect him. And so when I hear what you're saying, Sonny, in terms of being a dictator, like, just to hear that as a dad, you said that hit you to your core. And I don't think you're not trying to beat him up. So like just like what did that do for you? Like, yeah, what did that do for you?
All right, so
Take your time, bro.
yeah, at that point, I made a decision inside that I just took a left turn, man. I never looked back. And at that point, that bridge that was laid out, that Lisa had been laying brick by brick out, I started walking across it. Um, I read books that she would, say, "Hey, this is a book I'm reading." I read book. I don't like reading, y'all. I don't like reading. I read books. I joined Blam. I started getting new tools and techniques to use because I knew I wanted to make the change, but I didn't know how to do it. I know how to go out here and do a lot of the stuff I'm trying to do. I know how to do a crime scene. I know how to do 250 pounds, I know how to do that by myself. But right here, I wasn't doing this at home, so I had to get the tools, and that's what started the change. The real change was that, and it started with her just creating that space. You know, she was
Right.
the leader in that area. You know, as much as I want to claim to be alpha male, she was the leader and the glue in our family that got us to this point.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what you're sharing is just in terms of the fact that Lisa led the way in terms of making space and you said building a bridge for you to be able to come over, right? We say this all the time, folks. I want y'all to pay attention, right? Somebody got to lead. Somebody got whoever has the most insight is obligated to use it. Whoever, and at any given time in the relationship, one of y'all has more insight than the other. It's not one or the other, it's both of y'all. But depending on what you're dealing with, we got to get out of like I feel like I'm always the one, you know, trying to get us to do this or do that. And a lot of times in the relationship space, it's, you know, women feel like I'm trying to get my man. But honey, you know, there's some gifts that we have. There are some
Athletes.
intuitions we have, right, Lisa? There's some things we
Yes,
got,
yes.
right, that we've been blessed with. And so you don't need to see that as a curse, but you need to look at it as an opportunity, right? And either
Absolutely.
your partner will rise to meet you as Sonny did, or you will find that you have outgrown them, as I always say, you know. And so you just have to look at where you are. But Lisa, can you share? Because I know the women on here really are like curious as to like, so what did you do, sis? Like what did that look like? He's like
She
getting
put it on
books
him.
and you know
Mm.
you got different things you're sharing with him in terms of reading and but I'm sure it was even in addition to that your energy like and how did you even if he was being critical and you experiencing him as being kind of controlling or dominating or just hurtful, how did you even get your mind right to show up that way when
Mm.
you know you might have wanted to cuss him out a little bit? I don't know.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I think what was the catalyst for me is that when we were at our worst, I think we were in a house and he stood on the counter and said, basically, I'm the king. And I was like, whoa.
Wait a minute, you got to back that
So
story up. Hold on, pause. Which one of your little
Uh,
buttons I use that? Hold on, push a button or something. I need a button.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know what that
okay,
button was. That might
okay,
have been the
okay,
volume, but
okay.
he got things be making all kind of noise. What did that do, y'all? I don't even know because we can't hear. But I know you ain't say you stood up on the counter.
he stood up on
the kitchen counter.
the kitchen counter and basically said, this my MF house. I'm the king. And I was like, okay, so A, he's crazy. And let me figure out how I'm going to move because we had two young toddlers at that time.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, let me go into prayer. And I really went into prayer for like a whole year. Like he was
Mm.
working nights. Every time he went to work, when I put the kids to bed, I would just walk the house praying because I figured that I had to get myself together.
Yes, yes.
I couldn't come with him with that same energy because I can meet him there, but it wasn't going to solve anything. And where I'm one that will stick and stay. He is a track runner. I mean, many times he was like, you know what, I'm gonna just be out. And I'm like, wow, you just that easy? You just gonna be out after, all we done went through? So, doing that year of just really being in prayer, and that's when God really told me, shut my mouth. I don't have to speak every time I feel like there's something for me to say. Show it in my actions a different way, and he's gonna see it. And so, I really got quiet. I really just, tried to focus and work on me. And then that's where that defensiveness, I'm like, I know I'm defensive. I know anybody comes to me, I'm gonna be like, well, let me explain why I did it, and I can give you 5 different reasons. And, I'm like, you know what? I'm good enough where I'm at. I don't have to defend myself.
Mm.
And so I think showing up that way for him kind of switched it. And we also, with the communication, we also had like connection issues. And so I had to work on that as well.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. What that mean?
And
What that mean when you say connection issues? What do you mean?
Marriage is for grown folks. So what that mean?
What is it?
Uh-huh.
Make it plain. Make it
okay,
plain for us.
so um, he is highly sexual, very, very, sex drive really, really high. I can go, but not like him. And so, what I found out with him being a police officer, there were times when I didn't know what he was doing on the street, and he would come home and he needed me, and I didn't always show up. Like for him, that physical release, I wasn't always there for him because I'm tired. I didn't worked all day. I got the kids. And I really had to like switch that and be like, you know what? He's coming to me.
Mm.
I'm his wife. That is my duty. That's the least that I could do because I didn't have to be out there saving the world. And so, and I had to get out of my head because I grew up in church. You know, there's certain things they tell the little girls, you know, you sanctified, you holy. They don't tell you what to do once you get married. And so I had to wrestle with, you know, I didn't want to be perceived as a hoe, but
She said
those
that.
qualities he needed. So
Yeah, I understand.
so I mean, I really had to like come out of my shell, be more confident in myself, and show him that I'm there for him. Like I'm there for him any other kind of way, but that connection that he needed, you know, I had to step up my game on that and to let my
Yeah.
guard down and be vulnerable.
Wow.
So that's a blessing, I think, for both of you all, for you all to be able to experience each other in that way. One question that I want to ask you, Sonny, is, and this is for a number. I know it's other brothers in here who are in the same field as you, or maybe police are not police officers, but maybe firefighter, whatever it may be. But first responders, it's a different level of stress. And so, what I want to ask you is that you know, in your line of work, you're experiencing and encountering a number of situations that may lead to you like storing trauma, you know, in your body. And so, you know, y'all have spoken about vulnerability and the need for you to shift. And so my question for you, Sonny, is how has your wife made that safe space for you to be vulnerable? And how do you decompress? Because you got a lot. And I know both of y'all, I mean, tax accounting is not an easy thing either. So how do you decompress when you got that heavy weight and that stuff that you're seeing that's, you know, just real heavy to carry?
Oh, so a number of ways. A lot of my love language is us going out and adventures and trying new things together. So that is one way. Um, and then like I'm just gonna be honest. I will ask her to wear something, like I'm asking her to wear something risky or something. Asking her to do something. And what that does to me a lot. First, she's just like, "You so nasty. I don't want to wear it." You know, it was just always that we had that little tug of war thing. But I think she started realizing like that was part of my escape. That was part of me where I had her where she wasn't answering the phone. The kids wasn't here. It wasn't just that we were having sex. It was I had her back like we started where it was just us two rolling.
Mm.
We going to a concert. We just went to a concert. We just went to a getaway, escape room for adults. I mean, those type of things are the things that we do now that we didn't do then. We would just keep going week to week in a rut, week to week, going to work. You know, I'm just going to work thinking, bottom line, I got to bring this check home. That's all I was thinking. And we were in a rut, and we were just.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we kind of look at it like when we get when y'all get ready to go out on a date, y'all both in your own mirror and y'all working on yourselves. And y'all got y'all brush, your hairbrush, you got your makeup, and y'all working on yourself until you get to a certain level, and then you turn to each other and you like, how do I look? And then you help each other with the finishing touches.
Mm.
That's kind of how we look at how we do everything else now. And then when we ready, when we both check each other out and we help each other and we ask for that help and we receive it, we go hand in hand and we go out to that and just anywhere in the world we ready
Yeah.
with that swag.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah, they loving that in the chat. They said that's amazing, Sonny.
Hmm.
How did this deepen you all's emotional connection? I'm guessing that early on when y'all were dealing with a lot of this, that the emotional connection was it strong? Did you feel disconnected from one another? You know, how has that changed? And do you feel, Lisa, real talk, right? Like you're trying to make sure that your husband is attended to, his needs are met. Emotionally, are you able to kind of be present and get connected into your husband, so that your needs are met in that way? Like, how do you navigate and deal with all of that?
So I think for me, I think early in the marriage, I probably lost myself trying to be the perfect bonus mom and keeping, you know, all the things that come with being a wife. So I had to really figure out the things that make me happy as well as keeping a balance with him. And so the connection early on, when I think the times that like he wanted to leave, in my mind, I was thinking, we've got this great connection. Like I know what it was in the beginning. I remember telling him before we even got married, like, I feel safe with you. And that never went away, even in the midst of us not liking each other. Because there was days that, I wanted to cuss him out. I know he wanted to cuss me out. And, we would go through like a week or so without talking, where I'm the type of person, if we had conflict, I wanted to solve it all in that night.
She's saying it was me. She's saying we. She's taking down the chin. That was me.
I wanted to solve it all that night. And so we could begin afresh the next day, where with him, he would take a week and not talk. And I had to figure out, okay, 3 or 4 days, 5, 6, 7, that he wouldn't talk. And I had to just figure out how to be in that space and not overthink it. I think sometimes we have this picture or whatever is in our mind that we're thinking that the spouse is going through, and it's not that. It is totally different. And in my mind, I got a whole movie. I mean, this is what's happening. This is what he's thinking. He's not talking to me, and he's doing this, 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 and this. And it wasn't that. So I had to be able to let him process it. Sometimes after a couple of days, I'm like, listen, we got to talk. We've got to figure out what the disconnect is, because what I wanted to do for our children is to show them something different. As I said, growing up, I never saw my parents argue, and I didn't know what to do. And I want my kids to be able to, when you're in conflict, know how to recover, know how to get back, know how to apologize, know how to own your ish, and be accountable for it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's good. Know how to recover. You're saying a whole lot when it comes to this whole piece around not seeing it. And I just want everybody to know that if you didn't see, you can't give somebody something that you never saw. You know what I mean? I know y'all know this, right? Y'all coach people all the time, but if you didn't get it, y'all, I just want us in this room tonight to collectively give ourselves some grace. It doesn't mean that you are not a grown ass woman or man now, and that you need to get it together. This is why we're all here on the Marriages for Grown Folks Summit. But you can't give something you didn't see. You have to learn it, and we can't judge ourselves. So I love how you all shared your backgrounds, right? Even with you, Sonny, right? And like, this is just kind of what I knew to be. And for you, even Lisa, to talk about being able to look at, okay, how am I creating a story? I'm creating a narrative about what was going on with him and that kind of thing. And what do I need to do to make my own self happy? Because a lot of times we're looking to our partner to give us stuff that they ain't got no business giving us in the first place. It ain't even their job.
Yeah.
Right?
let me ask this question of you, Sonny, really quickly. So, and I'm asking this mainly for the fellas, but you spoke about your relationship with your father and how amazing he was as an officer and that type of thing. But when it came to the household, he showed up a certain way. And so with that being said, like, did you have to go through your own process of forgiving him? And as a black man, like, how did you do that?
So started realize I think a lot of people kind of want to just play the victim. My parents did this. I didn't see this. So I kind of looked at it that way at the time, because remember, I was in my growth still. So after my little tantrum, I think I started going, I can't blame him for nothing. I gotta make my own steps. I gotta be my own person. He did the best that he could do. And we had deep talks. I mean, I went to him and had these talks, and he's like, Sonny, remember my dad was stepping out, beating my mom, and I had to step in and stop him at 13. So I didn't get to see it. So I did what I could do. I did the best I could do. And I went, and I said, thank you. Because he gave all he could give and still does. He still gives advice and does whatever he can do.
Yes.
So I had to look at it as appreciation instead of, what I didn't get, because he gave me a whole lot more than a lot of other fathers, because he was there.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to reframe my thinking, if you will.
Yeah. Reframe. Yes,
Yes.
reframe.
Mhm.
I mean, what Sunny, I hope y'all caught what Sunny just said, right? Like, we say this all the time in the Blam Core community, right? That you can name where, dang, like I didn't get some things, or my parents didn't give this, or I didn't see this, and you can release them from it. And even if you have some feelings about it, you can just bless them and say, they did the best they could with what they had. And now I'm grown and I got to be able to move forward and do some things differently. You know what I mean? I got to take some things on that worked well. And then I got to leave some things that didn't work well. And it's not about judgment.
Yeah.
But reframing is always important. So I really love how you said that. Y'all, this time went by fast. We
Yeah.
already at the end of y'all's
Mhm.
section. Did y'all love them? I just in the chat. Y'all need to go back and make sure you look in the chat. They're like, this couple is
Okay.
so powerful.
Yeah,
This couple
they
is
giving
so
y'all straight
relatable.
kudos.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Give it up for them. We appreciate you guys so much. Sunny and Lisa Williams, committed to us. You can find them on all things. First of all, hold up. You let people know where they can find you.
Yeah.
Where
Mhm.
what you have coming up. Anything you want folks to know about you.
We are on we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Committed to Us Community. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Committed to Us, and we have a website, committedtous.com. We just the last couple of months we did a yoga for couples. We're going to do a part 2 of that later on this year, just to spice it up a little bit more and get more couples connected. And we'll be doing a movie scene analysis in the coming weeks. We're going to do the best man, taking 3 of those couples and discussing their
That's gonna be
stuff.
good.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's
yes,
Indeed.
follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and we'll get all that information to everyone.
Excellent. Thank you,
Yes,
Mentor
indeed.
D'Angela. She put y'all website in the chat. There it is.
Yes,
Very
indeed.
good.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Yes. Thank
Thank
So
y'all.
you.
much.